Welcome to Fisher Sports Desk. I'm Matt Ryan.
And I'm Lydia Spiotta. It's our final show of the year. We're going to take a look back on the fall sports teams this season.
And we're going to start with football and the last game of the regular season against Alfred.
It was senior day at Growney Stadium, and all the Fisher seniors were recognized before the game. Early in the game, James Chambers would plunge into the end zone from 1 yard out to give Fisher an early 6-0 lead. Into the second quarter, Alfred's Tyler Johnson gave Alfred a 7-6 lead with this 10-yard pass. Later in the quarter, Chambers scores again, this time from 7 yards out to give the Cardinals a 13-7 halftime lead. On their first drive in the second half, senior running back Steven Stromolo gets into the end zone to up the Fisher lead 20-7. Then, early in the fourth, senior Tyler Burns' 27-yard field goal brings it to 23-7. With a minute left in the game, the Cardinals would take an intentional safety to make the score 23-9. That would give Alfred one more shot. Johnson would go deep, only to be picked off by senior Brandon Fuentes. Unfortunately, Cortland pulled out a victory over Ithaca to take the Empire 8's NCAA tournament bid. The Cardinals ended the season as co-conference champions. James Chambers finished the day with 152 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Senior Steven Stromolo finished with 72 yards and 1 score. Brandon Fuentes ended with 2 interceptions for the third week in a row.
Because of the win, the Cardinals were invited to the James Lina Bowl. The game was against the Westminster Titans. The Titans came into the game with an 8-2 record. It was Fisher's second consecutive ECAC Bowl. Let's check out the highlights. This time, they started strong again. A 14-play opening drive was capped by a 2-yard Matt Nathan touchdown pass to Taylor Byrne, 7-0 Cardinals. On the kickoff, Michael Burton would boot it deep to Demetrius Bentley. Bentley would field it, take off towards the right sideline, and be gone. 90 yards for a touchdown to knot the score at 7. After a Fisher punt, Westminster would move the ball on offense. Their drive would be capped by a 16-yard touchdown run by Jordan Edwards, 14-7 Titans. Early in the second, Westminster's quarterback, Paul Colombo, would scramble for a 24-yard touchdown to extend the Titans' lead to 21-7 at the half. Midway through the third now, the Titans would continue to pour it on. Colombo goes deep to bring the Titans' lead to 28-7. Fisher would finally respond though. Another long drive would be capped by another Nathan touchdown run to bring it to 28-14. But Fisher couldn't build momentum. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Colombo gets a big play again. This time with a 56-yard completion to Cody Allward to bring it back to a 3-score game, 35-14. The Cardinals needed a score on their next drive to stay alive and they couldn't get it. Nathan would get sacked and he would fumble, setting up another Westminster score. In the end, Westminster would walk away with a 42-21 victory. Nathan ended up with 154 passing yards and 2 total touchdowns. Caton finished with 51 yards and 1 touchdown. Senior receiver Taylor Byrne ended with 30 receiving yards and 2 scores. Fisher would finish the season with a 7-4 record. This fall, many of our Fisher athletes excelled on the field.
Let's take a look at some of the students that received postseason honors. For the Fisher football team, we saw the most all-conference selections with 8. On the offensive side of the ball, James Chambers and Kyrie Demos were first-team selections. Making second team was Austin Coleman, and Kyle Gensler made honorable mention. On defense, Brandon Miller, Alec Mortellaro, and Brandon Fuentes led the way on the first team. Jordan Andrews was a second-team selection.
For men's soccer, Joel Castellini and Jake Gentili were honorable mention selections, and Brandon Costanzo was named one of the Sportsmen of the Year in the conference. Women's soccer had several selections, with Jackie Romano making the second team. Taryn Ginta and Molly Beaton were honorable mention selections as well.
Women's golf was represented by Taylor Laughinghouse and Jenna Stogsdill, who were first-team selections, and Ali Shemirani, who was a second-team selection. The lone representative for the women's tennis team was Claire Herman, who was one of the Sportswomen of the Year in the conference.
Lastly, for the field hockey team, Alex Maley and Danielle Familaro were both all-tournament team selections in the Empire 8 Conference Tournament. Congrats to all of our athletes, and we enjoyed watching you all throughout the season.
There's much more to come in this episode of Fisher Sports Desk.
We have highlights of the men's basketball season opener and action from the Teddy basketball tournament. Stay with us.
That's right. Plus, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Welcome back to Fisher Sports Desk. We're going to take a look at some basketball over the past few weeks.
The men took on SUNY IT in their first game of the season. The Cardinals are looking to start off strong after recording an impressive season last year with 18 straight wins and a Sweet 16 appearance. It was a battle throughout the first half, and Fisher managed to go into halftime with a 43-35 lead. The Cardinals looked to feed big man Keegan Ryan, and that plan worked. With SUNY IT center in foul trouble, Ryan was able to dominate. In the second half, it was all Fisher. Here you see Chaz Lott assisting to Zach Ottaway. Now the Cardinals show their team chemistry as Tyler Hart scores on the break. Fisher went on to win the opener by a score of 96-73. The Cardinals' big three of Ryan and seniors Lott and Hart played key roles in the win. Hart and Ryan both had 20 points. Ryan also had 7 boards. Lott added 17 points and 7 assists. Sophomore Alex Sawsville added 20 points off the bench.
The Teddy Committee hosted a charity basketball tournament to raise money for Camp Good Days. Let's take a look at some of the action.
There were 20 teams in the tournament. They were split into 4 divisions with 5 teams each. The top 2 teams from each division advanced to a single elimination bracket after the preliminary round robin. Let's check out the semifinals. And what a game this was. Undefeated Team Barton battling a very tough Team Roland. It was definitely a seesaw affair, both teams going bucket for bucket. But it was Team Barton that moved on to the championship game with a 12-11 victory. In the title game, it was another tough game for Team Barton, this time playing Team Pete. Barton won it 15-12 and became undefeated champions. FSD's John DeMiro caught up with the winners.
John DeMiro here with Brett, Liam, and Ricky, who are the undefeated Teddy 3-on-3 basketball tournament champions. Guys, what do you got to say about the tournament?
Great feeling, man.
It's for the kids, man. Love it.
It was a lot of fun, man.
You guys seem like you had a great chemistry out there. I mean, you guys went undefeated. You had to have something working well. You guys ever played together before?
A little bit, pick up, but never organized, anything like that.
Yeah, just pretty much we're competitive kids. Just wanted to get the W's, get these Dick's gift cards, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That semifinal game was pretty close. Back and forth action, 3-pointers, back and forth on each side. What do you guys think about that game? Things got a little heated too, a little bit for you guys.
It's all about the defense, man. We're locked up, and she got the dub. That's it.
All about the D. This man right here made some clutch shots. We needed him.
Did what we had to do, man. That's it.
And there was a little bit of a rule shake-up in the final game there. You guys made it 3, but they said you had to pass it in. But I guess ball don't lie because you made it 3 right after that. So
I guess that's why I shot it.
That's how it goes,
Ball
man.
doesn't lie.
That's how it goes, man.
all right. Any final thoughts, guys?
We'll be back again.
Team Barton will be back next year. Shout out Camp Good Day, special time. Shout out John. Shout out Derek for putting this together. We love
Shout out
you guys.
605 Main Street.
Shout
We're here,
out.
man. Thanks for the dub.
Rock Nation.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to stick with basketball when we come back.
We will be previewing the men's and women's teams. Stay with us.
We'll get you moving.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
and that's a slam dunk.
Whether you like to shoot hoops,
Kick the soccer ball around.
Or ride your bike
moving every day puts you on the offense.
towards a stronger you.
So be a player.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up, play, and move it your way. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Fisher Sports Desk. We're joined by Kyrie Demos. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we want to talk about the men and women's basketball team. So starting with the men, they're coming off a huge season last year. They had 8 consecutive wins and a Sweet 16 appearance. Do you think they're going to be able to do that again?
Oh yeah, I actually think the team could be potentially better. You know, a developed big man in Keegan Ryan, who was actually named to the preseason All-American team. Chaz Lotta, 4-year starting point guard. Some more talent coming back with Tyler Hart stepping up in the starting role, and Tyler English. There's a lot of pieces for this men's basketball team this year.
Yeah, and they won their first game. Do you think they're going to hit that 18-win streak again, or do you think that was just not a fluke thing, but something, that might not happen again?
It's tough. It's tough to say. 18 games, that's a very tremendous win streak right there. But you never know. They've got a lot of talent. They did lose their guard, like I said, Tyler Hart, who he hasn't played the last few games, and he's been a scorer for the team the past few seasons. So we'll just have to see how they can put it together with his absence.
Well, I think the team's playing really well to start the season. I think they're playing with a lot of chemistry and playing good team ball, which is really helping them. Now, they did lose 6 seniors from last season. What do you think they can do to kind of replace that leadership?
Well, to replace the leadership, you always need some talented guys to step up into those roles. They had some very impactful players, losing Adam Ambielli, Stephen Bach, and Optimistic Kennard. Those were some very talented and veteran guys. But at the same time, they've got some good young talent. Alex Sawsville, a very good shooter off the ball. They've got Tyler English, very athletic wing player. So I think those guys can step up. It's going to be interesting to see. They're both sophomores, seeing how they play in their new expanded roles. But I think that over time they will develop into very great players for the Cardinals.
I agree. I think the team is in really good shape right now, and they just need to keep pushing forward and try to get past the one injury they did have to Hart.
Absolutely.
And I know there's a lot of pressure on them. They're a great team. The coach expects a lot from them. As a fellow student athlete, is it hard to juggle everything, especially when you're supposed to be a standout team here at Fisher?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's hard to balance your studies, balance athletics, balance just your social life in general.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's what you come here for. You know that coming in, that's what you wanted to do, to be able to be a part of a great program and get a great education as well. Mm-hmm. So I know it is tough personally, but for those guys as well, actually having a longer season like them, I know it's got to be that much more of a difficult task. So I commend them for that as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the work happens in the off season as well. I saw them training, all semester long to get to this point, and right now they're playing well. We'll just see if we can meet the expectations of last year.
Yeah. They were ranked 10th in the country at the start of the week. So it's definitely a lot of expectations now going on for the Cardinals. So we'll just have to see if they can live up to them.
All right, and now moving on to the women's team, another great program. They had a great season last year. They won the Empire 8 championship. They too have lost some seniors. Do you think it's a rebuilding year, or do you think they're gonna come out strong?
I think just like with the men, we've got some talent on the women's side as well that it's just gonna turn over and step up. Losing a senior like Portia Velasco, she was a 4-year starter, great player. Tons of records here in the Fisher program. But we've got 2 guards coming up, Emily Piacentini. Drawing a blank on her name now, but we've got some talented girls on the roster still.
I know Mackenzie Bizon is another guard.
Yes,
she's been starting.
absolutely.
She comes up huge for the Cardinals too in some key moments. Mary Kate too. She's returning for another season after having a huge record last year, scoring a bunch of points for the Fisher team.
Yeah, MK is definitely she's going to be the catalyst for the Fisher offense this year. Also, Bridget Carney, a returning senior this year, playing down in the post. She's been a successful player for the Cardinals the past few seasons. So we'll definitely just have to see how those senior leaders can carry the Cardinals throughout the season.
Right, and same with their coach. Expecting a lot out of these teams, but they're producing great results in the past few years.
Mm-hmm. Coach Ermi is a very, very well-respected coach. She's been here for years, and it's her success is measured. So obviously, she knows what to expect and how to motivate those girls.
Right.
So definitely think that they've got some big things to look ahead to this season.
What do you think is the biggest advantage that St. John Fisher brings their student athletes, being a successful athlete yourself?
I would definitely say the facilities here and the coaching staffs here are out of this world. So those definitely are what help us to be a step above a lot of the teams in the Empire 8. So.
All right, well, Kyrie's going to stay with us, and we're going to have our roundtable next after the break.
Did you buy the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yep.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes.
The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Visit ready.gov.
Welcome back to Fisher Sports Desk. Time now for our roundtable discussion. All right, guys, so the first topic tonight is Kobe Bryant announced that he'll retire after this season. What do you think about it?
Well, it's definitely a sad time in the NBA to see Kobe Bryant retiring. I can just remember growing up as a big basketball fan and almost hating the guy for how good he was, you know what I mean? But yeah, Kobe Bryant retiring, 20 years in the NBA, and just the things he did, things that he accomplished, you know, just it goes without saying. You know, he's a great player, one of the greatest players to ever play this game. So it's going to be sad to see him go. It's definitely going to be sad.
He helped the Lakers to 5 NBA championships. He's a 17-time All-Star. Like, that's huge to be losing him. But he was saying that it's not his heart, more that his physical ability is not really there anymore.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing to see. You know, Father Time is undefeated, they say. And, you know, you never want to see a player go out like this, but at the same time, you know, he knows that it is there, and you know, he's at peace with it. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, Kobe is one of my favorite players of all time. He plays with so much heart, and that's what you have to respect about him. He always gives 110% effort on and off the court, and he expects and demands the same from his teammates. So I respect Kobe a lot for everything that he's done. Obviously, it is time for him to go. The legs just can't hold up anymore, and he can't even shoot like above 30% anymore from the field on some nights. So it's time for him to go. But as you mentioned, I really like the way he announced his retirement with that eloquent poem.
Right.
I thought the poem was really nice. The way he's going out, and I just really admire Kobe as a competitor more than anything else. Growing up watching Kobe, the reason why I became such a fan is because he never let you down. I was also like a big fan of Tracy McGrady, but sometimes like you wouldn't see his best effort, or he just kind of float under the radar. He had a lot of talent. You never had to worry about that with Kobe. He'd always give his full out effort and produce almost every single night. Questions have been asked about his leadership ability as far as like being a team player and taking too many shots, and that can definitely be debated. But when he was at his peak, I don't think you wanted anybody else shooting the ball, and he did lead in his own way by example and showing people what it's like to work hard and give a full-out effort.
Right, and with his retirement, a lot of people have been comparing him to Derek Jeter. I know a lot of sports players have been reaching out, like LeBron James saying, he wishes he would have met him in the finals, but he just respects him tremendously. I just think that's awesome how the sports world's reacting to his retirement.
Yeah, the sports world knows greatness, and Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest of all time. So it goes without saying what he's done in his career. So just, we just hope he can have a great farewell tour.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously the other night in Philadelphia, he played high school in Philadelphia, so they had a whole ceremony for him because it was his farewell. And he started off the game really good. Right. He made 3 threes in a row, and I guess he said that some of the younger players in Philadelphia were like, oh man, he might explode. They were kind of like nervous. They didn't want to touch him, but obviously the legs fell out at the end, which just shows you that it is time for him.
Time. All right, so moving on, college football, some big weeks coming up. Who do you think are going to be the 4-in? Who do you think is just going to miss the cut?
Oh, it's tough. I definitely think that I think the top 3 are going to stay the same. Clemson, Alabama, and Oklahoma. Those 3 teams have been very good throughout the season, and their resumes speak for themselves. The 4 and 5 seeds are where I think the discrepancy is going to be.
Right.
And I think that Michigan State taking on Iowa this weekend may get it done against an undefeated Iowa team. They've been so great throughout the season, but at the same time they don't have any firepower like the Michigan State offense does. Connor Cook's been a successful quarterback for 4 years now, and I believe that he's going to be able to get it done and get his team to the playoffs.
What do you think?
I I definitely think, like he said, the Iowa-Michigan State game is like the biggest game of the year coming up because it is 4 versus 5, and whoever wins that game will most likely be in, barring like a hiccup at the end. But the conference championship games will have a lot to do with who gets in because, you know, like a team like Alabama playing in the SEC, I mean, they could easily lose in the conference championship game. I mean, they already lost to Ole Miss this year, even though Alabama, I think, is a great team. But a lot of teams are going to be vulnerable in that conference championship, so it's still up in the air. But I really like Clemson, obviously undefeated. And
right. You don't see North Carolina making a miraculous jump up.
It's tough, you know. Clemson has been unbelievable this season, and Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, is the best player in the country. So I just feel that it'll be a great game. Definitely will be a great game.
Yeah, definitely one to look forward to, not miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the Heisman race will be real interesting down the stretch too, because there's no clear-cut favorite. You know, it was Leonard Fournette for a while, and then he played Alabama. So I don't know how much was the line, or he just couldn't break through, and then Henry had that big game. So it'll be real interesting because a running back hasn't won in a little bit, so it's been mostly quarterbacks.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, guys, so our next topic is about the upcoming film Concussion. It's going to be released on Christmas Day. The film's about the National Football League hiding these findings of brain damage caused by repetitive hitting. Have you guys heard of all this? All right, so do you think this is going to change the league at all? Do you think there's going to be some outrage over it? What do you think is the reaction is going to be?
Well, I think from an outside perspective, like for people outside of the NFL, they're going to be shocked to see that the NFL would go to such, you know, stretches and hide the fact that, you know, their players are even dying, killing themselves because of the disease that they are getting, CTE, from too much head trauma. But the NFL, I think, is really scared at this point in time because, you know, the truth is the alleged truth is being revealed.
Right, and one of the side effects, the symptoms of this is severe depression, in which we've seen, you know, these former NFL players commit suicide, which is awful, but do you think it's going to be enough to change anything?
I mean, I think there's already been some change. Just look at the San Francisco 49ers this past offseason. Several players that were in their primes retiring so early. Patrick Willis retired after 7 or 8 seasons. Anthony Davis retired after about 5 or 6, I believe. And Chris Borland, who was a standout rookie, he only played his rookie season. And, you know, he said the head trauma just wasn't worth it. And to be honest with you, I can't blame him for that. So he's looking out for his future.
So I think the NFL, obviously, because it's so popular, is the main sport that's getting the most attention for this. But I think it's a really good thing that the awareness is being raised because regardless of what happens in the NFL for youth sports, because so many of our youth are playing it, and then at the high school and college level, it's good that the awareness is being raised to make it safer for kids. So you're seeing helmet safety now, and also like programs like Heads Up Football Certified. All the coaches are having to take these seminars to learn how to teach the players to tackle properly, to prevent these injuries, and just what they can do if a player does have a bad symptom showing concussions. Because I know, like when I was playing in high school, if you had a headache, like you were considered like soft if you didn't go back in. But now, like that culture is kind of changing because they realize like how dangerous it could be to get a second injury right in a row. So
do you think concussion protocol is doing enough, you know, high school, college, and professionally, or do you think there's more they could be doing?
I mean, I think there are some steps that they're taking that are going in the right direction. Like, for example, like this past season, playing here at Fisher, I wore a Speed Flex helmet, which is supposed to be the newest technology as far as going against concussions symptoms and things of that nature. And I mean, that's just one thing that they've implemented. So we'll just have to see how they continue to move forward with it.
All right. Okay. So this upcoming Sunday, the Bills are playing the Texans after a few disappointing key losses. Who are your picks?
It's tough. Bills fan. I'm from Buffalo.
Right.
And you know, our playoff chances are slimming
alive.
away. They're still alive, though. They are still alive. So I'm gonna have to say I'm going with the Bills for this one. We've got to get it done. It's crunch time, so we're gonna get this
I love the
W.
loyalty.
I'm a huge Bills fan myself, obviously, from the area. I'll be at the game on Sunday. Texans are really hot, though. They're coming in, playing really well, but I'm going with the Bills as well because we need it. And you know, we are getting healthier. Very disappointing last week what happened against the Chiefs.
Right,
We did lose Kyle Williams, but other than that, the Bills are getting healthier. And Sammy was looking great in the first half anyway, so hopefully we can use him for the entire game this time. And, you know, I'm confident that Tyrod can have a bounce-back game. And if McCoy just keeps running the way he has been lately, he looks like his legs are back and he's over his injury issue, so we should be fine.
All right, well, that's a game to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for watching all semester long Fisher Sports Desk, and we'll be back next semester.